Did you hear the good news? Were you invited to the celebration? Headline at Sports Media Watch. Unrivaled debut outpaces non-Clark WNBA games on cable. This is amazing! This league is an unparalleled success! Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes! Let me ask you something. Name another league that looks at ratings like this. Name another sport that compares ratings by removing their biggest star. Hell, their only star. When the NFL releases their ratings, do they say Bills-Ravens was the most watched NFL game on Sunday afternoon at 3:42 p.m. that did not involve Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, or referee Bill Vinovich? When the media talks about ratings in the NBA, do they say Mavs Thunder was the most watched game on ESPN on Saturday afternoon when Aquarius pounds Uranus, the rings of Saturn engulf the Big Dipper, and LeBron James is out with a mild ankle sprain? I don't understand why the mainstream media feels this constant need to polish this turd known as women's basketball. I don't understand why the media refuses to give you the full truth. Instead, they give you a partial truth, the shit sandwich. They give you these absolutely abysmal ratings. Then they try to convince you that this dump of a league is an unrivaled success, when the reality is, it's an unrivaled, huge, embarrassing failure. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. If you happen to stumble upon this video, be sure to check out my main channel, Behind the Line. Link to the main channels in the description below. Last weekend, the barely anticipated debut of Unrivaled was outshined by just about everything else on television. This league debuted like a wet fart when the nearest bathroom is miles away and you got a flat tire. For those that don't know, and judging by their ratings, that would mean everyone, but for those that don't know, Unrivaled is a 3-on-3 pretend basketball league that was started by pretend basketball players in the WNBA. The premise behind the league is to give pretend basketball players the opportunity to make dollars instead of pesos. Unrivaled, it is an equity league similar to the WNBA where players receive money that they haven't earned. But instead of players making minimum wage like they do in the WNBA, Unrivaled is offering their pretend basketball players six-figure contracts. Now, the games, they are not taking place in arenas. Hell, the games aren't even taking place in high school gyms. They appear to be held in some sort of television studio where attendance is severely limited. I guess WNBA players who started this league, they knew going into it that no one was going to pay to watch this garbage. The reason I bring that up is because this league is heavily reliant on revenue from TNT for its survival. In order to get that revenue, you gotta have ratings, which means for the first time in their careers, WNBA players, they have put themselves in a situation where they actually have to produce results to survive. Looking at these debut ratings, doesn't seem like this league will survive for very long. Unrivaled chose to debut on Friday night, the one night of the week where no one's really watching TV. With that being the case, why would they choose Friday night to make their immaculate debut? Because Friday night's also the one night of the week with the least amount of competition. But even with nothing to compete with, Unrivaled was still unable to draw a single fly to their freshly polished turd. The first game was the Lunar Owls versus the Mist. What the hell's with these team names? The Lunar Owls? I guess missed makes sense since the league features players who are experts at missing layups. First game in league history drew 313,000 viewers on TNT. The second game between the Vinyl and the Owls, did I miss something? Did the Owls play a doubleheader, or Are there two teams sharing the same name? I guess the quality of the creative department matches the quality of the product that they are putting on the court. Second game drew 311,000 viewers. I don't think I need to tell you how bad these numbers are. They're atrocious. Viewership peaked at 364,000 viewers. Now, that was the peak. That was as good as it gets. And keep in mind, these ratings are for their debut. In most cases, ratings decrease in the following weeks after a debut because people lose interest. Good news for Unrivaled, people won't be losing interest because they never had it to begin with. Now, of course, the mainstream media, they are working overtime attempting to polish this turd. The media is lying by claiming that Unrivaled outdrew WNBA games that did not involve Caitlin Clark. This is another classic case of the media serving you a shit sandwich. Unrivaled did outdraw the WNBA by, I think it was 50%, if you include games that were broadcast on NBA TV. That is not a fair comparison because nothing draws on NBA TV. If you remove WNBA games broadcast on NBA TV, the dump is outdrawing Unrivaled by 50% without Caitlin Clark. The media is also claiming that Unrivaled set viewership records on TNT. This was the most watched women's basketball game in the history of the network. I didn't know TNT even broadcast women's basketball. If they do, they damn sure don't show it very often. But even if they did, that would be like CNN bragging about outdrawing ratings at CNN. You're comparing nothing to almost nothing. The most watched women's basketball game on TNT before Unrivaled, it was a game between Colorado and LSU from November of 2023, 184,000 viewers. Now guess what that game and Unrivaled have in common? Just take a wild guess. Both games featured Angel Reese. Wait a minute. I thought Angel Reese was a huge star. I thought Angel Reese was a mainstream celebrity. I mean, that's what the media keeps telling me. So how come Angel Reese consistently fails to draw ratings? Her biggest competition on television Friday night, it was oiled up dudes on the USA Network passionately wrestling inside of a ring and claiming to lay the smackdown on a sweet candy ass. And you mean to tell me more dudes watched that? I guess those bikini pics and half-naked videos that Angel Reese puts on social media, I guess that's not translating on television into ratings. Strange. Obviously, the debut of Unrivaled confirms what we already knew. Women's basketball is not a draw. The WNBA is not a draw. Unrivaled, damn sure, is not a draw. Caitlin Clark is your only draw. Credit where credit is due. Caitlin Clark made a brilliant decision by refusing to join this dump. TNT begged her. I mean, they begged her. Unrivaled offered Caitlin Clark over $1 million for 2 months of her time. But Caitlin Clark knew her value would increase exponentially if Unrivaled failed without her. The more this league fails, the higher her value becomes. At 22 years old, Caitlin Clark had the wisdom to know that it wasn't worth risking her value over a quick $1 million payday. And Unrivaled, they are definitely destined for huge embarrassing failure. Give me your thoughts on this. Unrivaled flops in their debut. Angel Reese is not the mainstream draw that she thinks she is. Does this league have a chance, or are they destined for failure? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.